Hello, everyone. Melanie here with CGL Recruiting. And once again, I am joined by Amanda Rico. Hi, Amanda.
Hello.
So for those of you that don't know Amanda is the owner of Rico Editorial Services. She has a Ph.D. in English. If you're wanting to check out her company, let me give you her website here for her company. But we have gotten Amanda to be a guest for us today to talk about bios. Amanda, for those that don't know you, can you take a moment to tell, I can't believe anybody that knows me doesn't know you yet, but can you take a moment to talk about who you are and your background a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. So definitely my background, I come from this kind of academic type of background, coming from having a BA and MA in English at the University of Oklahoma, and then a doctorate from Texas A&M University. So definitely been an English nerd for most of my life, editing stuff from the time I was very young. So something that I have just always enjoyed, really love doing. And that's what really got me into resumes and kind of branching out from only editing, kind of manuscripts and articles and all this other academic kind of stuff. So yeah, that's where I'm coming from the academic space. And then I transitioned to nonprofit, worked in higher ed for a little bit, and all along the way, I've been doing resumes, cover letters on LinkedIn and bios. So.
And you also, you're a featured article on
Oilwoman, yeah.
Oilwoman, that's it. Sorry.
Yep.
But so you can check out some of her articles there as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Houston Business Journal as well. So actually I have an article coming out. It just published today. So I'll be making a post on that tomorrow. But yeah, so columnist for both of those. So that's been really fun as well.
So what's your one on the Houston Business Journal? Because this video will come out after your post.
I'm pretty sure it's on transferable skills. I hope I'm not confusing it with my Oilwoman column that I just did. Sometimes it gets all blurred and I'm like, I don't know.
Needless to say, everyone, of course, Amanda is huge in this space. And that is why I wanted to have this conversation with her today about bios. Now, whether you are a job seeker or you are somebody firmly entrenched in your career, you need a bio. If you don't have one, it is something that you absolutely have to add to your list. Yep. So, and a bio is different from your elevator pitch, right? Your elevator pitch is when, you're looking for a job or trying to present yourself in a short 30 seconds. Right. And that is looking at a different way of you as a person as opposed to your bio. Right. So, Amanda, what do you think are some of the critical things that have to be in a bio for someone?
Yeah, so a bio should be kind of an encapsulation of your professional work, but also you as kind of your personality a little bit. I like to inject a little bit of personality into a bio just because there are so many bios that are extremely stale and, just kind of here's what I've done, But it should show a complete career trajectory and the driving force that pushed you towards taking each of those steps. So it's very similar to the drive for the resume, except that the resume is a very targeted document for a job. The bio is very targeted towards you as a professional and should kind of stair step or guide your reader along your career trajectory in no more than one page.
Oh my gosh, yes. There are some.
Please don't go longer.
So, I think too, the bio is different because nobody goes through and reads out your resume in a group, right?
Yep.
But your bio is used, people are going to read it when they're looking at different posts, but also when you do any kind of speaking or visit different places, a lot of times somebody is going to read out your bio.
Yes.
And so there's a different grammatical, you can't have anything that doesn't flow so smooth from one piece to the next.
Yeah, you want to imagine someone reading it out. So you don't want to use first person, right? You don't want to say I. Yes, you did. You don't want to do that. If someone has to take an extra moment to think, okay, I don't want to say I because that's me. If they're reading it for you, you're like, okay, no, it needs to have your name. It should be written in third person, right? Third person, not first person.
That's I think they confuse it, elevator pitch and bio sometimes.
Right.
Please don't put your bio in first person.
No.
What do you feel about, some people recommend having a shorter bio and then a longer one. What's your feelings on that?
I absolutely do agree with this. And what's cool about having the longer bio is it can be cannibalized into so many different things. So you can use portions of your bio to create an elevator pitch. You can use it for your about and summary section in your LinkedIn. You can use it as part of your executive summary on a resume. right? You take certain pieces that are the right fit for that particular form, and then you basically take it and mold it to what needs to be there. So the bio is actually an extremely important document.
I always feel like, the bio is one of those, when you're applying for jobs and you're a job seeker, you have a job seeker brand, right? Where you're trying to brand yourself and align to that job. But when you just have your bio that's for you as a career, person, it's different. It's your total brand of who you are as a professional. So you can play with it a little, right? I mean, you can have a little bit of humor if, it's in the right way. You may have one that's got humor and not, depending on if you're, doing a board presentation or if you're doing a conference. But you have more room to really get your hands around your brand of who you are as a person.
Exactly.
And you don't always get a chance to do that in your resume, right?
You don't. It can actually be a lot of fun, to write a bio. I mean, it all depends. If you're a geologist and, and you have a 45 plus, career in geology, and you just want it to be primarily for, board of directors type stuff, then yeah, maybe make it as stale as you want. But if you want to show a little bit of personality, and if you're wanting to create, kind of go into a new venture or something like that, then you're going to want to entice people to read that content. And so a lot of that comes down to the types of wording that you use. Like for instance, if someone's in technology, for instance, I'll try to use, emerging technologies, certain terminology like fresh or cutting edge or things like that, so that it pushes the reader to want to continue reading about this person. And it also gives this idea that this person is not stale. They're moving forward, right? So word choice is one of the most important things that I focus on for a bio, because you have a very limited space, right? Only one page max. And you're trying to convince someone to think that you're a thought leader, basically. so yeah.
It's you are, I think you called yourself an English geek. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I'm a nerd, yeah.
An English nerd. And so for you, staring at a blank piece of paper, you see potential and possibilities.
Sometimes.
With so many people, they see that, and I say blank piece of paper, a computer screen that's blank. And it just, they just freeze and they can't do anything. So for someone who is trying to start, I mean, of course, we always tell them, look at other people's bios, right?
Yes.
You can totally steal format on a bio, but what do you recommend for them to think about of, maybe I should start with this and the middle and the end? Is there a formula that helps with this?
Yeah, so typically starting with, kind of an overview of yourself in a nutshell. I always try to make the first sentence very impactful, whether it's a resume, a bio, an about and summary section on a LinkedIn. That first sentence is really crucial because it should be kind of in a nutshell who you are and what you do best, right? So you want to say, talk about what you specialize in. Generally I'll go into kind of details about what sets someone apart professionally. And then I'll go into some examples, right? So you want to start out with an overview. Think of it as, I wouldn't do the triangle here. Okay, I'm trying to think of an example. I would start generally with an overview of someone's kind of professional career.
Right.
Go into examples in the middle section. And then the end is generally going to have a little bit more kind of quirks, personal stuff, publications, things like that have to do with fully branding them and showing kind of some of their community involvement, their thought leadership, stuff like that. So you want to end on that note so that whenever somebody finishes the bio, that they feel like, okay, this person is fully entrenched in what they do and they do it really, really well. We started with the kind of bird's eye view. Then we went down to some specifics of examples, impactful, data-driven examples. And then now we're at kind of their personality or, kind of what makes them tick and why they're so good at what they do. And then you wrap it up and then people are like, oh, wow, that person's impressive, right? That's what you want.
So we always tell people that for their resumes, they should be adjusting their resumes, right? Yeah. When they're applying for different positions. What do you think about that for bios? If they are doing different, presentations to different groups, are you one that believes, no, your brand on a bio needs to stay on point? Or do you think you should adjust it for the different audiences?
I never believed in a fixed document. I think that's what's so cool about documents is that you can change them. It's literally, I honestly, I love what I do so much because what I do is so fluid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you're writing a document, you literally, if you don't like it, you change it, right? So with a bio, it should be the same way. If you want to be seen differently by a different group of people, or if maybe you need to change the terminology, or for instance, if you're speaking to a group of people who are not part of your culture, right? If you're speaking to an international group, you may want to shift some words that may not be as easily understandable, or that may not necessarily click with that audience. So there's always a lot of give and take when it comes to thinking through what you're going to put on that bio that's going to be read off. So,
Amanda, you make English cool.
Oh, awesome. Yay. That's my goal in life. English is cool, man.
Right? Not all of us think it, but yes, you make it so easy, right? So is there any other last bits of advice that you would want to give everybody who's looking at that screen and trying to create this bio of either, don'ts or things to make sure they absolutely have in there?
Yeah, I mean, I would really say don't recreate the wheel, right? Everything, and David, I think, we've talked to David Gibson a lot as well. And one thing that we always talk about is reverse engineer stuff when you can. Just like what you just said, read other people's bios. How do they have it structured? I do this all the time, looking at other people's, LinkedIn profiles and saying, oh, I like that. Oh, I don't really like that. I like this, right? Pull what other people have done. Take it, use it. Don't plagiarize. But take aspects of it because that's going to help you brainstorm. That's going to help you develop fresh ideas that maybe you wouldn't have if you were just staring at a blank screen. So
I absolutely agree. Amanda, thank you so much again for taking your time out of your day to give us some of your wisdom and make this all seem so easy.
Oh, sure thing. Well, it's taken me a lot of time to figure this stuff out too. So I hope nobody thinks that it's just, pops in, that it's just something natural.
And I know that you've been doing this for years and provide this service for lots of individuals and have been very successful at it, which is why I appreciate you taking the time to share some of those, nuggets of information with everybody.
Sure thing. Thanks for having me.
All right, everyone. I hope this information was helpful to you. If so, please give us that thumbs up. If you have questions on your bio for me or Amanda, just go ahead and put them down below in the comments, and we will take the time to look at each and every one and respond. And if you haven't subscribed yet, we have lots of great live events coming up, as well as always more videos to try and help you with your career and your job search. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.